Hi everyone, hi Ibi,
Hi,
and
Costa. Hello, everyone.
welcome. Thank you. Welcome to another edition of our little um, journey into the Gene Keys and exploring different keys to play with. And today, without any hindsight, I picked the Gene Key 16, and Ibi had just shared to me off camera before that we actually are still on the 16. So I find that quite a funny coincidence and uh, way of tuning into the current field that we're going through. So the Gene Key 16, it runs from the shadow of indifference to the siddhi of mastery, and it's the gift of versatility. And so when I was picking out these keys, I was looking at which ones I would not actually align myself to, paradoxically, and this one was the one that was truly speaking to me. Specifically, when I was reading the shadow, and I'll read this from the text. So, as long as you're indifferent, you can't ever be different. This is the key to the 16th shadow, which concerns the very human fear of leaving your comfort zone and fully embracing change in your life. To truly prosper in the world is to find the one thing in life at which you excel above all others. This is the true destiny of every human being, but to bring this dream to fruition, you must first step out of the shadows and take the risk of being different. Indifference is an essential energy field that gets you to focus your precious time and life force on the inessential. The inessential in this context is anything that takes your attention away from the present moment and its limitless potential. As long as you are focused on the inessential, you'll be indifferent to the things in life that really matter. So I just found that in terms of the shadow quite appealing and resonating with me, specifically in my life, because I'm feeling I'm just going around in circles, um, being here in Brussels, for example, in Belgium, and um, and finding the place of where you can find your true genius. So in this key, the way out of indifference is one to find enthusiasm and creativity. And so when you find something that you can have that can bring you that expansion in your life from within, then you'll start to see that reflected on the outside. So, and this relation has a lot to do with other keys. Um, so you have obviously the programming partner, which is Gene Key 9, which is about determination and being invincible. And taking the one step, you can see the many thousand steps that are included in that process, and that what brings you this beautiful way of being versatile in the many ways of overcoming technique. Um, but also, I can see the differences it has with other keys. For example, Gene Key 14. When you sort of compromise, you become indifferent. You allow yourself to be separated, in fact, from reality. In this case, also from being present, and therefore you can develop this sort of numbness as a result of compromise or as a result of being indifferent, and therefore there's a gap between you and what's in front of you in the present moment. And the example they give a lot in the Gene Keys 16 is if someone's being hurt or you're seeing someone like is completely maybe kidnapping a child or something, and they've done obviously these stuff on YouTube clips. And I'd say about 70-80% of the time, the people just walk past thinking, oh, we know it's wrong, but because there are other people around us in the collective, we do nothing about that. And that's the indifference at play. Whereas to any sane mind, seeing that happen, you instantly would go and help the child, um, even if it was a prank. And so it's interesting to see how the mind takes its place when you identify with the shadow frequency, because you're looking at not wanting to express your inner gifts, your inner expressions of love, as it were. So, um, yeah, I'll just leave it there. And Ibi, if you want to see if anything resonates with that.
Yes, thank you, Costa, for choosing this key that is very timely and very aligned with being in the middle of this transit, the sun traveling through it. So for me as well, 16 was a kind of mystery and a kind of where should I enter in this field of versatility and mastery. Sounds like a big word, right? It's the same feeling that you have when you look at the programming partner, the ninth, which is in my extended chart in, I think I have Neptune. So it's veiled for me, it's not very clear. But the nine has this feeling of, oh, this big goal I need to achieve. There is this long journey to go to the top of the mountain. It's so hard to move. The mind is already seeing the heaviness and the length, how much time I need to invest, energy. So I better turn on the other side and go to sleep and be lazy, because laziness is the dilemma of the 16 Jinki. So it's interesting, this feeling, this field of indifference is a collective unconscious feeling, and is made up of all the people who are not living or doing what they like. When you're not doing what you like, what is your passion, what's your calling, what's your highest purpose that is built in your genes, in your DNA, you are part of this dead field, this lack of enthusiasm, this feeling of repetitive activity, or going to do a job or doing something which you become good at, but it's like living under a ceiling that is limiting you. You will never go into excellence, into art, into mastering, and mastering not like knowing everything about a field, but being able to pierce and bring up the depth of a field, which is this infinite well of wisdom through the Jinki 48, which is at the other side of the channel in the body graph. So we have the channel between the 16 and the 48. So this ability to bring out the depth and the creativity in an unlimited creativity, unlimited way to express that wisdom. Because Jinki 16 is a throat, is an expression key that has to do with skills, the ability to work through your hands, through your practical skills to bring it to form, bring it into the form. Is one of the keys, together with the Jinki 45, which is also about prosperity, through which we build civilization. Everything that's built in our world, it's made up of these two keys. So yes, for me, it comes alive through this 9 Jinki. It's easy to say, oh, I don't have time to invest like 10 years for one skill, to perfect one skill, or I don't have everything I need. I don't have the instrument. If you are an artist and you want to master, I don't know, an instrument, I don't have the studio, I don't have the perfect conditions. This is postponing your dreams through whatever can, why you cannot do it. But whenever you find this connection to something you like, it doesn't need to be something big, because we were conditioned to, I have to be immediately mastering a whole, I don't know, the quantum physics or whatever, many areas, and be from one day to another an expert. And this feeling, this overwhelming vastness of mastering a field, and also the commitment that comes with the self-discipline that is needed to overcome inertia, this determination to show up day by day and to practice and to do and to anchor that light that is coming through the nine, is like anchoring light points one by one, each step, until you see a path of light. And that is where your dreams are taking off. It's like you are creating this run away place where your dreams can take off. So yes, this is
Nice,
what's coming right now.
nice. Also, it's interesting that you mentioned the nine as like the anchor in a way to, like you say, get the dreams to take off and to bring that light, or to remind you of the light that's already in to see on the outside. I see the same thing with that with Gene Key 14, where because of this contagion of enthusiasm, it acts like a trait or as an attribute, so that you become competent, so the dreams start to come alive. And the same thing with what you shared with the 45 and prosperity in the collective, similar to with the 50, to help empower individuals, because the 45 and its way of synergy is and syntropy has got to do with goodwill, and you're providing goodwill to people, and that's coming because you feel so enthusiastic about the living dream that you feel it wants to come up, and because you've created this clearing as a pathway that's starting to open up, because you're investing in that space, you're investing in the skills that are needed for this to come alive, and you're not identified with the skills. Maybe you're going in more deeper, or maybe you are identifying with it, but it's not for the sake of a lower frequency. It's a sake to help you get up and over the ladder into mastery, because the mastery then takes you into a place of nowhere, no man's land. You just become the vessel of that very stream of consciousness for divine energy to take its place. And so, yeah, these different keys that we're experimenting and playing with here, I feel, are also just contributing to that factor. And you could say it with obviously all the keys, right? But I really felt, yeah, like you said, the nine, the 45, the 50, equanimity, and how you're bringing harmony into the world, because you're sharing your passion, you're sharing your love. And obviously the 63rd, which we spoke of last week, of truth, and it shares its connotations with the sixth seal as part of the seven sacred seals course, about your enacting your truth, and you want to shine that truth and have that celebrated with other people, and therefore you need to penetrate the grounds that are keeping you stuck or keeping you from being indifferent, and that is what needs to happen, so you then do become different, and then people can see that and say, oh, what does this person have? I want to find out more about it. Or you just naturally connect with that project or that idea, not because of the idea itself, but because of the love that's emanating through that. And people can sense that, they can feel it's like, yeah, I really admire this project. I want to be part of it because I just feel that pulsating source that's coming through. And this is also similar to, teachings and, even religions. If you take away the bulk of what is not alive and you go back into the quintessence of it, then you think, yeah, I'd like to be a part of that because I can feel its bubbling nature coming through. And this is also why, I'm sure Ibi, for you too, it's the same thing with the gene keys. It's We want to remove the Maya and bring it back into the playful element and speak from the transmission. And that's what you need, the versatility. It's like, yeah, you're taking in all these different things and playing around because we just want to share from that space, from that heart. Um, yeah, so there's this feeling of connecting back to source, I feel, is something that is part of what it takes to become a master.
Yes, yes, that's a very powerful statement, and it has a lot of truth. As being connected back to the source is having access to energy, right? And what you were saying about the connection with the 14 is a sacral key that is the wagon, right? Is the wagon of prosperity. So it provides the energy of the belly, which is the life force, to sustain the determination and the practice that's needed to perfect those skills in the 16 that are allowing you to go into the depth of one skill and not just surface and get bits and pieces of many, many skills. The people who are having the 16, they are skillful, so skillful in all the domains that they can be anything. But the idea is to stay and find that one that is connected to something you are passionate about. And here I feel there is a secret because, and Richard says, the highest form of mastery is to live well. And living well, this is a question for all of us. What does it mean for you, for everyone, to live well? And this is the point where our mind starts to create empires and gets lost into something so big, so extraordinary that is outside of what's inside. And it can start with just creating that ritual, that sequence of practice that is making you feel joy and enthusiasm. And this happened to me back in, I think, 2013 when, or 13, when I started writing a blog, and I was working in the corporate world. So I was working, and I was part of a team. It was a project at the company of a team of 5 people, part of a charity project. And we had to walk every day 20,000 steps and to be, it was a competition. So I started waking up at 5 o'clock or even before, and without negotiating with my inertia, with my 9, I was just getting up, going to the toothbrush and going out of the door. And when I was out, suddenly it was this beautiful, untouched energy of the morning that was just, wow, immediately filling me with energy. So I was walking for 1 hour and a half, and getting all this beauty inside. I was coming back and starting writing on the blog. So that would take 1 hour, and then I was going to the work, to the daily job for 8 hours, and I was full of energy. I did this for 100 days in a row, and I didn't miss one. It was, for me, it was surprising how just finding a little thing that was part of something bigger, right? It was serving a higher purpose through this charity project, but also bringing me joy and finding me, filling me with this ordinary thing, right? I was just walking every day around my house and my neighborhood until I reached the forest, and it was just seeing ordinary things like sunrise, like birds, but they had something that was resonating deep into my soul. So that created that gave me access to the depth of my creativity. So I saw this connection between 52, which was 52, one is my stability, and it has the keynote of self-discipline. So having this self-discipline of showing up every day, that is connected with the 9. It makes the channel of focus. And so I was going through, going to the determination and not staying in the inertia, and that ignited the creativity and the depth of the wisdom that was expressed then through the 16. So it was, yes, a beautiful way to, but I was not knowing back then about the Jinkies, but now I can see how they worked together in this sequence that made possible to keep the discipline of practicing, and how much it expanded and it went into the depth of the inner frontiers. Like, yes.
It's also interesting when you share about the discipline, because it's needed. Having just enthusiasm, that can dry up. Like it can come, it can go, and then you forget, you relearn. But having the discipline to remind yourself as to why it's helpful to do it, for example, the 100 days, can then show itself to build that structure around it. Because otherwise, you just sort of going in and out, and then it doesn't plant the seed for it to grow, you know. And it's similar to what I see when I look at even the keys around the 16, right? If you look at Jinky 15, um, you know, it goes from dullness to fluorescence. So it's all about having this seed that can really bring out this beautiful texture in a new way, and then you become magnetic for the very reason that you're driven by your dreams, that you're living them. And then the 17 too, it's like you're just seeing a part based off the mind, as intellect. Um, or what is it? Is it what is the 17 shadow?
Opinion.
It's opinion,
Opinion.
right? Yeah, it's opinion, and then 18 judgment. So you got this opinion masquerading as fact that you think that's a reality, but then when you go into omniscience, it's the knowing. You know, it's the inner knowing of the third eye, and you're bringing all the parts into the whole because you're seeing the wider view. You're seeing the where the dream is going to take you, and that's the farsightedness, this ability to know that that one little speck of joy that comes into our life can lead to the next step, and then that's what's opening up the field for me, and then therefore you're going to start to be transformed in that space. And that's the beauty. Then it's like not a question of just knowing that you need to be somewhere. I mean, take my case, I'm in Brussels, I'm considering going to Greece, but maybe the journey has to go in, obviously we'll go in a certain direction, but maybe it's a question of looking at it by just taking the steps that I need to make it to for me to be there, and that will open up the doors for opportunity. So um, yeah, I'm still simmering in that space to figure out how that's going to happen. But it's a nice contemplation to take because it means the doors aren't stuck. It's just saying, okay, what what needs to occur for that dream to come alive, and and there are many doors to go through. I mean, there are many ways, there are many doors that I can choose from, and I'm just going to sit and contemplate with that space.
It's interesting that you mentioned the keys around the 16. I have the 15 and I have the 17.
Yeah.
So I have and the 19 and the 18. Uh, and it is in a way 15 preparing this idea of finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, and seeing that all life is fractal. So if you find in something ordinary or mundane, something that is bringing you enthusiasm and joy, that is enough, is a portal to go through and find the depth that is the extraordinary part of the ordinary. And with the 16, you need to identify with the process. So you cannot stay outside and observe. That's where you remain indifferent. That's where you are waiting for your dreams to happen one day, like winning the lottery, but you don't even buy the ticket or you don't even play, let's say. So you need to be the player in the life's game. And it's interesting that it's coming from the elements as well. The 9 is water over wind. So you need that commitment to break the wall of inertia, to stay committed and not to give up when the first obstacle appears or when the first uncomfortable feeling appears, because inertia is what? Is when you try to move an object that is stagnating, right? It's having a fixed position and you want to move it from there. You want to move it in a different place. So the first step will be facing a force that is equal with the force you put into moving it. So something will react and try to keep the object
Like a test.
in a stagnating position. So you need more steps. You need at least 2 or 3 steps to go through that stagnation and to get into movement, get into seeing a different scenery, a different landscape. Otherwise, you are, it's still the same. It's not working. It's easy to say, it's not working. Let's stay in the old comfort zone. We cannot do anything. And just waiting for a miracle. The 16 is a miracle siddhi, but it's not about waiting. It's you saying yes through that 29, that water element that is in the 9, saying yes to life and participating to life, identifying with life, making mistakes, but it's just you are the one that is holding the life force, and that life force that is living inside you is the one that is creating or bringing to expression your dreams. So that's
Can
yes.
can I ask you, how are you getting the commitment? I mean, I know you can just say from the gene key, but you were mentioning from the elements with
Mhm.
water over wind. How are you making that connotation um, to your dreams or to the 16 with versatility?
So when you for me, for example, I had this one of my biggest passions is about photography and creating these portals, these magic portals, which are taking a raw photography and putting into a fractal shape. And I noticed when I followed that impulse, that creative impulse that was just absorbing me, making me one with that moment. I was forgetting about time. I was not thinking of making a business out of photography. It was just something that was giving me energy, giving me um, beauty, connecting me with life, with the wholeness of life that can exist in one moment. And when I followed that impulse, it was and it transformed into this creative process of creating these portals. I noticed how easy it was to focus and to keep this commitment. And sometimes when I didn't like what was coming out, it was not so easy to stay. But that's exactly when you need to stay. Maybe you make a pause, maybe you come back with a fresh eye or a fresh view. But you come back, you show up. And that is continuing to say yes to the life force and not abandoning, not giving up. So it needed to be connected with something that is passionate, but where something what ignites the passion, this enthusiasm inside you.
Nice. Thank you. And for everyone else probably listening too.
Yes. So it's but it's also this identification. You need to identify to be inside the process, to dedicate, to devote yourself to get to know intimately that technique, that skill, that how to model, how to transform matter in a way, how to transform matter under your spirit, what the spirit is seeing, what the spirit is feeling, because it's in a way abstract and unknown, is coming from this deep wisdom inside the body. But how you stay with the process of mastering a skill until it gets you over that bridge, and you don't need anymore to think of the technique because you are into the art, and this is piercing through many domains, and you can connect um, um, things and fields. So this happened to me also with the Jinkies, and Costa, because we started from the beginning when with the pulse. And that was something. When I saw first the announcement, was like, oh, this was written for me. I love visuals, I love photographies, I love jinkies and the quotes and picking up exactly this matching. And yes, that was the start of something that was so sustainable inside me. I never felt like giving up. It's just something that is so alive inside me. And this is the dream. Find something that lives inside you and give it an expression.
Yeah. Yeah, lovely. Well put. Well said.
And that is prosperity. Prosperity is when you feel it doesn't is not connected immediately with the money. We are connecting it entirely with money and having money, making money, being successful. But is actually how are you living? How are you feeling the life moving through you? Is it living? Is it filling you with energy? Is it filling you with beauty? Is it filling you with sadness sometimes? Sadness is also creative, it's the source of a beautiful creativity. But are you allowing it? Are you getting to know it intimately? Life, how is moving through uniquely, differently than others through you? That's your mastery, you mastering life.
And then it becomes an intimacy too, because you're connecting yourself with the very feeling that either is stuck or unworthy, or um, you're not allowing yourself to be divided or separated, and that is then becomes the very tune that you're able to play, and that then can become harmonious. In fact, because you're giving its attention, you're giving it attention to live out your intention, because you think, oh, actually, no, this is something I like, and it will then also shift your environment too in the process. So it becomes That's kind of cool. Even the word skill, when you were saying it, you said the word, because I like the transmission that's coming through you, Ibi. The skillful, you become skillful. It's like it's exactly that. You become skillful because you're integrated. You're taking something that's of tensile strength and you're embodying the whole process of that technique. It's not like I'm taking a part, but I'm not really feeling it. It's like, no, let it come into me, and then you become it. And then the very fact you becoming it, that's why you become a master of it, because you're no longer even identified with it. So at the beginning you
No.
are, so on the gift level you are, and that's what's
Yeah.
keeping the intimacy going. But when you reach the stage where you've transcended it, it's there and it's not there anymore. And then it
Mm,
becomes very, very
exactly.
beautiful. And people can feel
Yes.
that. It's like, oh yeah, you just through the words that have been spoken, they say, no, this person knows it. It's authentic.
Mm,
And then again, I can also relate that to the 12th, right? You're
yes.
discriminating what's not authentic and that's form that has dead weight, whereas you're now living something has energetic value to you to help you move forward. And therefore, you're saying, no, I don't need this, I don't need that. That I'm going to go through, like what you shared with the pulse and the gene keys. It's the vivid images that I remember you and still do, which is wonderful.
Yes.
And also this idea of money as well. I also want to touch on that too. It's the like you shared, it's the life force that has to come first, and then the money follows. It's like the byproduct of the very thing that's you're coming through. And once you found that, that's how your heart opens. It's like saying, no, I want to go there. Let me open up. So maybe a little bit difficult at the beginning because you don't want to trust the shadow of being intimate with that. You don't want to interact with that. I say, no, I don't want to go, like you say, I don't want to go away. I want to be lazy. But no, do the work, make it
Mm,
happen. The focus on the work is what's going to help bring you to this new stage, and that bridge will start to open up. And I think that's where the trust comes in. It's like saying, can you trust the untrusting uncertainty that's going to
yes.
help you bring the shift? And that I think is the most important thing. I can say that for myself too. Like I've been there, but also for others. Like if you don't trusting it, but just keep at it. Something has to give way because everything is like can be molded. Everything is really empty. And in the emptiness, then the potentials start to develop, or they're really there, but you're saying, "Oh no, it's you're tapping into that," and because you're aligning yourself to that, because you've been earnest in your approach
Mm.
with effort and work, you become the vessel for that purity just to come into you. Yeah.
Yes, it's so beautiful. And you touched on something very important here. This so mastery means taming time,
Mhm.
the time itself, because we are saying, oh, I don't have 10 years to put into a skill. But actually is exactly that time, that life force that you invest,
Mm,
devote, commit, that is creating the path. And this opening is giving you access to, and it's revealing in a way the higher purpose of what you felt as a passion or enthusiasm, a spark of enthusiasm. And if you are staying there and you honor it, actually, what is passion? What is passion? Passion is the response, the of life, or the response of your body to the life that is resonating with the life force inside you. Life says, um, this is where is the highest potential of you putting your life force. And when that's aligned, you become invincible. Life is invincible. And the purity of the water, if you imagine a river, it comes with a little spring, right? That moves through the rocks and the mountain and comes out to the open space and then travels a lot through the fields, through the many places, and it gets this purity going through the rocks and incorporating all this time and practice and devotion, but having these banks of the self-discipline, right? You are not
Yeah.
flooding everywhere and losing, not even coming into a river, not being usable, not having a place where the animals and people can come and just use the water, take the fresh water, because it's just everywhere, right? It's damaging a flood, is not serving a higher purpose, a collective higher purpose, but that is revealed after through your devotion, through your commitment, that higher purpose. And you will feel it because you will be taken, that this dream of yours will will receive wings, and it will be taken at a higher level, being incorporated somewhere where it can serve.
Yeah. And
Collective
also that's a great metaphor to use the river as time, where it's nothing, it's not actually wasted. It's you're incorporating um, the environment around you, and that in itself is also purifying it because it's still allowed to move, right? We only drink water that's moving water. We never drink water that is stuck because then that becomes unhealthy. And I also look at it from the gene key, um, from a line perspective. I also resonate very much at being a line six. Gene key 16s are very much a line six to me. It takes you to the vision. It takes you to the place of where it needs to go. And in essence, you could then say it requires all the lines, right? The one is to find the place where you feel that you can become a master in itself. You know, line one, line six, they go hand in hand. And then the two is putting in the dance to say, okay,
a
what place?
genius.
Yeah, exactly. And then the line three is, you're experimenting with maybe different approaches and checking things out, but then
And fail.
and fail, yeah. And then
Yes,
the four is,
mistake.
sorry,
Make mistakes.
make mistakes. It's part of the journey. It's also the act of you're on the cusp, on the tipping point of something to take it to a wider scope, but that's where you reach the line four of sharing the expression and people resonating with that. That's more, I find, Gene Key 15 is more maybe line four for me because it's
And
like magnetic.
also, a line four is where you become um, an expert, is where you can focus and can teach others about what you learn. So you master in a way, you know very well, you get to know already that skill, that technique, and you can teach others, you can share with others
Yeah,
from the heart. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And then you get the line five. I don't feel it too much in this place yet.
I feel it. I
Oh,
feel
you
it
do?
because it's the universalizing line, and it's very practical. It's extracting from that technique the quintessence, the distillation, the wisdom that can be shared with other domains, with other people, can be integrated with a universal uh, view.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. And the practical element of being able to show how those skills match up towards your dream. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Well, it's
Haha,
been quite a journey into Gene
beautiful.
6, other keys, stories shared, and feeling the living transmission speak.
Yeah,
So
it's a pleasure.
yeah, likewise.
Joy.
So yeah, we'll keep doing these things, and feel free to share your comments below of feedback and what you'd like to see more of us trial and do and play with. that would be nice just to get us our, you know, our ways of experimenting in this space.
And also places where you cannot grasp an aspect or something from the key or from the relationship with other keys, and we can explore it together. Yeah. Thank you,
Wonderful.
Costa. And thanks everyone for being here.